Ladies and gentlemen, at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, January 7th, I call this meeting to order. This time we need to certify the election. Council, this time we're looking for a motion to certify the election.
I move to approve the results of the election.
Thank you. Can I get a second for the motion, please?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You guys have it. Thank you. The election is now certified. Bruce, would you join us? And we will move on now to the oath of office. Nancy, you have the floor.
And Darren actually raise your hand. Then read through this oath and I will.
If we could just start with Darren first and then Ashley and then Bruce, and then we will join together to say the oath together. Okay? So please raise your right hand. I state your name.
Darren Duckloff.
I, Ashley Wheeler,
Hi, Bruce McLean.
As a council member of the city of Umatilla,
As a council member of the city of Umatilla,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America
and the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Oregon
and of the state of Oregon
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Umatilla,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Umatilla.
and I will perform the duties of my office
And I will perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Okay, now on to our first roll call. Anthony?
Here.
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 Here. Here.
Thank you. I'm also here. No, you're good. Happens every time. You're good. No problem.
He's the guy in the middle.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. This time we are moving on to approval of the agenda. We do have one thing to add. Is that on 10.2 or 10.1? We're changing a date, adding a date for February 1st for workshop and tour to the calendar for the council calendar for 2025. Any questions on that from council? Is that
No.
addendum?
Right, we're adding February 1st, right?
Correct.
The workshop. I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented with the amendment of adding February 1st workshop to 10.1 2025 counselor calendar.
Thank you. Thank you for your motion. Can we get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You guys have it. That is our agenda for this evening. Moving on to the city manager's report, Dave.
Hey, thank you, Mayor. First item here is just our list of our paid invoices. You can highlight if you need to. Just happy to answer any questions you might have about any of the items in the report. If there's no questions, that's okay. We can move on to our next item on the agenda if you'd like to.
Thank you.
All right, so the next item for public alerts is we're working through an update of our communication strategies, particularly what we're calling public alerts. So these are things that haven't really necessarily risen as high as emergencies, although they could be, but they're not part of our day-to-day communications operations, things that we post on our website or social media, bulletins, information, and stuff like that that goes out. A lot of this, we're prompted to take a closer look at these strategies from events from Lifeways last year, from a pipe that went out, and a couple other incidences throughout the year. And so we wanted to give you an update that we're working with. We have a draft policy that will bring you for review here, hopefully at the next council meeting, as well as we have 3 different items that we're looking at. And so One of those is Safer Watch, the other is Civic Plus, and the other is Everbridge. And so Keith, I'm not sure if you had anything you wanted to add on the Safer Watch app, any information on that? Okay. Generally speaking, the functionality of each of these software systems, they come with different packages, slightly different prices, but they have some of the things that we've talked about before. So they have sort of reverse 911 options. They have geofencing options so that we can send out alerts to any cell phone that exists in the fence that we create. Some of them are a little different where they'll create a pinpoint radius. So you pinpoint, you put like a 10-mile radius or something. Others are where you can sort of draw the amoeba of what you want it to be. We haven't seen those demos yet on that version. And then others are those like with Safer Watch, for example, there's an app that you download on your phone and you select and from there you can get the various versions of alerts. So one of it could be a public safety alert, one could be a utility alert, one could be just a traffic advisory or something like that. And it could also just be our general bulletin. So if we have an event or something that changes, it could be used for that. But we'll be working with you as we come as a discussion. If you want that, if you feel that's the right platform to be putting that information out versus what we're doing now. So we're working through that. Just don't know if there's something that specifically that you'd like those systems to cover that I haven't mentioned here yet, but each of those platforms have those abilities in one shape or the other. We're just staff is looking at demos for those, and the prices are comparable. They range anywhere from between about 10 and 20,000 for the software for each for the initial purchase price, and there's a maintenance agreement each year thereafter.
Very good. I'm looking forward to seeing the different options. It would be nice if we could say just McNary or just South Hill or something, and we can target those areas. That would be good. And then also if we can have a platform where people can either opt in or opt out.
Yep. Yeah, and one of the things we're looking at as people move here to the community, they get information with their utility billing and so on. So we can put our QR code on there, download this to get accessibility.
Nice.
There's lots of ways in which we can get this information out. And of course, we can continue to push it out throughout the year in various ways that way. But clearly, recent events have definitely prompted that we have this gap of sort of this bulletin or this public alert level of communication. We just didn't have that in our strategies. So this is something that we're looking to update.
Well, and I know that previously you had said that you were waiting to hear back from the county on communications, and that's kind of why we were on standby. How has that conversation been?
More of the same,
Okay.
unfortunately. And so it's still, again, it's a service that's available to us that we already pay into. But they're for reasons that we can get into here if you'd like to, but they're keeping a lot of that sort of close to the vest, so to speak. It's definitely a good option for us. Everbridge worked well for us. We had the fires last year. That's what pushed out the alert for the evacuation notices. It came out to people's phones, so it definitely works, and we've used it in the past. But for us, it doesn't give us at the moment, it doesn't appear that we would have the full access to what's available to us to push out as we need. We'd have to sort of do it in cooperation with the county, and that's probably okay most of the time, but maybe not all the time. But it's definitely still an option that is always available to us, regardless of how we move forward. Don't know if it'll be the final one that we end up with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from council?
No.
I did have follow-up on that. So for people that are not interested in electronic warning, are we continuing to look at or consider whether, I mean, in a state of in a case of an emergency, are we still looking at the possibility of looking at, a sticky note on a door still for people? I mean, we do have people that are not interested in the electronic.
Yeah, so when we reach to sort of that level of emergency, we have, and I can send it to you, Bruce, but I sent a copy to the council 8 weeks ago or so, where it has the emergency protocols for discussion there. One of the options that's in there is sort of that door-to-door level. We've never implemented that as far as I know of, but it is part of that communication strategy. Not sure how. We'd have to take a look at that as we're looking to update that communication plan. Last time that was done was 2019. It needs to be refreshed and updated anyway. So as we bring on this new public alert system, we'll also be looking to update that policy as well. And we'll be bringing that to you here in the next, this first quarter, or early second quarter.
Okay, I just, heard enough comments about, people that, are not interested in, don't check email or whatever it might be. And, don't want to leave that unlooked at.
Depending on the volume, I'm not sure we have the manpower for routine announcements for that.
Right. Yeah, this would definitely be if something really bad happened, for sure.
Think of the example of like a boil water notice, broken pipe, person escaping a mental institution.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
reaching to everyone.
that's not a door to door.
No,
That's what I'm
that's the reason we're looking.
Door to
for
door,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Like when the fires were up here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Doors
I'd
are-
volunteer for that if we needed help or something for sure.
Yeah.
But in that scenario too, even if there was a text alert going out, could there be some way inside that text that we kind of say, be mindful of the neighbors that may not receive this
Oh,
text of some
100%.
sort?
Yeah.
Almost like kind of trigger people's minds to say, hey, just kind of consider this as you're getting this alert right now.
Sure. Messaging piece, yeah, you bet.
Yep.
I like it. I'm looking forward to.
One of the
seeing
things
our-
when we start getting into those emergency level occurrences, it's important that we coordinate in that case with the county, the emergency manager. We want to make sure that we have a single line of communication going out who's in charge of those references. When I mentioned the fire again last year, that's was the fire department coordinating with emergency management. And then that from there, it goes out to our police department, it went out to our public works, it went out to all the other areas out there, and everyone sort of has their piece of the pie as they're working with that level of emergency, what they're working with. And so we have, our communication strategy has that, and our emergency protocols have those in place as well. And we have pretty good lines of communication between police and fire and so on. And so, but yeah, I think adding that as part of sort of the dialogue, if you're getting a text notification that we can add in there that, we encourage you to reach out to your neighbors and pass this along in case they haven't. We can certainly add that as part of our protocols.
Okay. Time we're moving to public comment this evening. Dave, sorry, were you concluded?
Yeah, I'm done.
Thanks. Perfect. I have a quick script to read about public comment. Public comment segment allows community members to share their opinions, raise concerns, and provide information directed to the city council. Comments should be addressed to city-related issues and must not pertain items scheduled for public hearing on the same evening's agenda. If you wish to speak, please complete the sign-up sheet, including your topic you wish to address. Please begin by stating your name and address when called to the podium. Speakers are allotted 5 minutes unless otherwise directed. Please note, comments criticizing city programs and operations are permitted during these segments. However, criticisms of individual city employees is not allowed during public comment period. Concerns regarding public employees and city employees should be submitted in writing to the human resource manager for proper review. Thank you for your cooperation. First on our list, we have Josiah Barron.
Josiah Barron, Director at the Umatilla Chamber of Commerce, 100 Pine Avenue. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
And congratulations, Councilor McLean.
Thank you.
And for congratulations, Councilor Bell, for your reelection. Just a few announcements here tonight. A couple hiring. TRCI is having another meet and greet on Saturday, January 11th. So this coming Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Somebody who's looking to start their career as a correctional officer here at TRCI. Oh, that's about the microphone.
Sorry, Josiah.
Oh, no problem. But yes, the meet and greet at TRCI this Saturday, and it will be there at the correctional institution. You can find all the details on the Umatilla Chamber Facebook page or website. We have it on our events calendar. And then also another hiring, Umatilla Moral Head Start is looking for a family support specialist. That position does require you to be bilingual in English and Spanish. You can find more details about that and apply at umchs.org. So get more details there. And then yes, we're still in winter, but spring's just around the corner. So if you like fishing, Tony Fisher at Fisher's Catch Outfitters, has just opened booking for the spring walleye fishing out on the Columbia River. So that's all the gear included and all the experience for just $250 a seat. You can go to fisherscatchoutfitters.com or check out on the Umatilla Chamber website on the business directory, find Tony's contact information on there and book your fishing adventure. I know I can speak from experience and I think Luke can as well. Fisher's Catch Outfitters team does a great job. But then also a couple new chamber members that I'd like to welcome at Fiesta Dogs and Treats. They are a dynamic food trailer business bringing flavor and fun to every event, offering a variety of unique flavors and customizable toppings for hot dogs, nachos, natural fruit shaved ice, horchata, and they use all fresh ingredients. We had them as our food trailer at the Posada we had at McNary Heights Elementary in December. Delicious food. But also our newest member, they just joined today actually, Certified Fencing. They specialize in top-notch fence installation and also provide all sorts of fencing materials for your next fencing project. They're located over at 2320 Southeast Kelly Boulevard over in Hermiston. Like I had mentioned, you can find all of our chamber members' contact information. If you go to the Umatilla Chamber website, umatillaorchamber.org, check out our business directory, or of course you can give us a call down at the chamber office. And just last thing before I go, if you haven't already tried out the new drinks, Java Junkies and Maple Moose Coffee Co. have new drinks for the month of January. So make sure you try those out and support our local businesses. Thank you.
Thanks, Josiah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josiah.
Josiah, where did you say the Fiesta Dog place is?
They are a mobile food trailer.
Oh.
So if you go on, so you'll just have to contact them. If you go onto the,
To you.
yes, they go to your event.
I was excited to go to them.
No, right now they are just a mobile trailer business and they go to different events.
So cool.
Next, we have Denise Pratt. I've got a question for you, Nancy, on this one. Denise Pratt has a letter as well. I'll take 5 minutes total for Denise Pratt for one individual. We have the letter separate. How would you like to handle it?
So 5 minutes.
Would you like to read the letter yourself, or would you like to discuss what you'd like to see?
Yes.
I apologize, I have been ill. First of all, I want to say that I can hear everybody better this time, so thank you for that. I do have a request, especially for people listening at home. It's really hard to keep up with everybody and everything that is being said. So the request is to speak clearly and maybe a little slower, just so that we can all follow along. The closed captioning doesn't catch all the words correctly. So what I had originally planned on coming to talk about tonight was the emergency notification system. And so I'm very happy to hear that progress has been made on that. So thank you for that. I do have a question about how to ask questions of the city. A lot of things have been brought up at the last few meetings. And how do we, as citizens, follow up with that to find out how things are progressing? So that's the question.
Typically in public comment, we don't do interaction back and forth. But if you don't mind,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure you can email any one of us or if there's somebody direct, if you want to forward anything, obviously it's going to have to go to the city manager to disseminate down to whatever department that is, which in wherever.
Yep.
But ultimately it comes down to us.
I was just going to make the comment that at the last December 17th meeting, it was discouraging to find out that public comment had been canceled, I guess, for lack of a better word, or blocked. And so I had sent an email because I was not here that time. So yes, I can read that. Dear City Council, as I watched the council meeting of December 3rd, it was frustrating to say the least. I am happy to hear that you are working on an improvement to the sound quality. I hope that will also improve closed captioning system so that we who are unable to attend in person may better follow along. I also hope that will include the names of those who are speaking. I will be unable to attend the December 17th meeting. So in regard to that December 3rd council meeting, I want to address my concerns. Number one, what I read and heard regarding the 4 issues against the mayor's site seem to be minor procedural issues. It would have been more appropriate to ask for clarification with them directly. I have attended several city council meetings or watched on video, and I have had many questions that I would like to have been able to ask. I see the mayor attempting to ask questions and being called out for doing so. I applaud the questioning for clarification rather than to just go along with what is being proposed. In the declaration of being transparent, why are questions discouraged? Mayor's being brought up on charges for questioning, then what about the rest of us? Are we citizens and other council members being discouraged from asking questions? As said many times, December 3rd was supposed to be a fact-finding mission, where the mayor was to be questioned and give his response. I did not hear many, if any, questions. How was he to respond to these allegations if nobody asked him any questions? It did seem that the other council members already knew what had happened. This left me very confused and suspicious of this procedure and the motive behind these allegations. The need to be supportive of the city, staff, and council. What is someone supposed to do if they don't agree? Does being on the city council mean that you can't have a dissenting opinion? That is very concerning to me. It appears to me as if this is a personal issue between the mayor and the city manager. It appears to me as if this is a lot to do about nothing and should never have gone this far. City council trying to oust the mayor. What is really going on here? This is coming out on the heels of 2 major issues that were not handled with transparency.
Thank you for your time.
Pardon me?
That is your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And I do have 2 letters to read as well. Nancy, could you set a timer for me? I appreciate it.
Which ones are you gonna read, Mayor?
I have 2 of them that were given to me, one from Cameron Sipe, and I have one from Kathy and Les Payne. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Dear City Council members, you may recall my participation. This one is from Cameron Sipe. I should start with. You may recall my participation in the Umatilla High School Youth Council several years ago. It was a privilege to engage with city government and collaborate on projects that mattered to young people in our community. While the Youth Council is no longer active, I believe it's valuable to reflect on the Umatilla's progress over the past 7 years. In 2017, Umatilla began its partnership with Amazon and welcomed its first data center. There was a considerable optimism about leveraging this new revenue stream to enhance our city. I remember the feelings of excitement surrounding research conducted by Portland State University graduate students who proposed improvements based on community input. The recommendations include enhancing downtown lighting and sidewalks, expanding the riverfront, walking paths for safer routes for schools, and community wellness, developing our park systems, and creating community spaces. It's been encouraging to witness the positive changes implemented by the council, city staff in recent years. Umatilla has undoubtedly grown in many ways. The revitalization of our downtown area, along with new events like Trick or Treat on 6th Street and the Christmas tree lighting, fosters a strong sense of community and showcases Umatilla's unique character. I am proud to see the ways my hometown has grown and built opportunities for community engagement. However, I'm concerned with some initiatives that have stagnated. With what seems to be a disproportional focus on defending a music festival, one of which is losing $1 million of public funds per year, although I trust the city councilors to correct those numbers as this information is a bit hard to find online. While I support new community events, I question the allocation of public funds for events that seem inaccessible for many Umatilla residents. Furthermore, I am troubled by the council's recent interactions with the public and the reprimands directed towards Mayor Caden Sipe. It's disheartening that multiple public safety and health incidents were necessary to prompt the development of a public notice system. Community concerns should be acknowledged and addressed promptly, not repeatedly dismissed. I urge the council to prioritize addressing the legitimate and urgent issues raised by the public rather than focusing on actions against Mayor Sipe. I do not see how accusations of Mayor Sipe impact the work of the council and the city staff, and I am concerned about the ways in which allegations have been pursued with so many concerns brought by the community remaining unaddressed. These concerns make you worry about the true focus of the city council and what it is your hope to achieve in service to your community. I ask that you listen to the constituents and consider the power you have to create a positive change in your community rather than pursuing petty allegations. If I have not reached my allowed 5 minutes, I would like to request the remainder of my time be given to Ms. Darla Huxell. Thank you for your time and consideration. I believe that working together, we can ensure a thriving future for all of Umatilla residents. Sincerely, Cameron Sipe. Darla Huxell for the remaining time. Thank you. This one is from Les and Kathy Payne. To Mayor Sipe and the City Council. We are writing to express concern and questions about complaints alleged against Mayor Sipe. Under the city charter, the mayor serves as political head of the city government. While I was unable to find a specific definition for political head in my research, one site stated that the mayor is a municipal head of the government and the maximum civil authority at the municipal level in most of the United States cities. According to ORS statutes, the mayor is the executive officer for any city, referring to ORS 221.902 in city officers, and must exercise careful supervision over the general affairs and subordinate officers. These are complaints that have been posted by the city concerning Mayor Sipe, attempting to influence a decision made by the city manager, not always supporting the city manager opinion, and having input to evaluate the city manager. These complaints seem to us to be striking out at the mayor, who is simply doing the job he was elected to do. The specifics of one of the complaints, once properly investigated, were dismissed. There seems to be questions of exactly who made the decision and how it was made, and it was not public record that we could find. The specifics of another claim have yet to be proven. This whole process seems to be an attempt to impede the checks and balances necessary in an open and honest city government. As a taxpayer in Umatilla, we know that the city manager is the complainant, but we would like to know how these complaints have been investigated and by whom. How and by whom they will be decided. In effect, how and why are our taxpayers being spent on this? We are again disappointed by the lack of transparency for the citizens of Umatilla because we believe that we have the right to be informed about what is happening within our city government. We should have information about the city and the opportunity to express our opinion about it. Isn't this part of the city goals of the city council? Sincerely, excuse me, Kathy and Les Payne. Thank you again for public comment. I appreciate your ongoing comments. Thank you, Denise, for coming up this evening and reading your script. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, we have 9.1, the November 21st meetings, or meeting minutes. This time, is there any questions about the minutes, council?
No.
No? Okay, there's no further questions. We're looking for a motion at this time.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. We approve consent agenda item 9.1, the November 21st, 2024 minutes.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We are concluded with our consent agenda. Moving on to new business item 10.1. And I want to remind council that we are adding an event for February 1st for a workshop and tour on that Saturday. Any questions about the calendar this time? Or any presentation from staff? Okay, we're looking for a motion at this time, council.
I would make a motion to approve the 2025 council calendar.
It's your first one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your motion. Can we get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second. Oh, you got it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 10.2, election of council president. Who would like to run?
I would like to nominate Darren Duffloff if he would be interested in being our council president.
Councilmember Duffloff, do you accept that nomination?
And I'll second it.
Not yet, not yet.
I'll accept.
He accepts. Can we get a motion to approve Councilmember Duffloff as our council president?
Mr. Mayor, oh, you go ahead.
I would move to elect Darren Dufloff to serve as council president.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a second to that motion, please?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. President, thank you for joining us. Okay.
Hang on.
It's only what, your second or third time doing this? Yeah.
Jeez.
Moving on to the standing committee appointments. At this time, if you look at the agenda bill, I've got them all laid out. Me and Melissa worked really hard on these. We sat down in the office for probably 10 minutes. So, any questions about your assigned seats for the next coming year?
Nope.
Okay. They look good. All right. Well, looking for a motion at this time.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. We approve new business item 10.3, your appointments for the standing committees.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much. All right, moving on to 10.4, Planning Commission. We currently have a couple people that are vacating and moving around, and we have some shifts going on. First off, we do have a Kelly Nobles has submitted an application for reappointment. Lyle Smith has been, he's looked for an appointment to Planning Commission, and Keith Morgan has tendered his resignation on Planning Commission, along with Bruce joining us up here. So we've got a couple open seats. So this time we're looking to reappoint Kelly Nobles, appoint Lyle Smith, and accept Keith Morgan's resignation, along with declaring a vacancy at this time. Any questions from council?
We've already done the vacancy with Bruce, correct?
Yes, we're adding
Okay.
an additional, correct.
That's right.
Right.
Keith, Gotcha. Okay. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we reappoint Kelly Nobles, appoint Lyle Smith, and accept Keith Morgan's resignation from the Planning Commission and declare a vacancy.
Thank you. Can I second to the motion, please?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I do want to say thank you very much to Mr. Morgan for his participation and working with the planning commission. It's very much a thankless role and it is appreciated for his service. We appreciate him and cannot be enough said. Moving on to library committee, we have 10.1. At this time, we're looking to reappoint Ms. Inky and Isaiah Gonzalez to the library advisory committee. Is there any questions on those two appointments?
These are just reappointments, right? These aren't. new.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Mr. Mayor, I move to reappoint Melina Henke and Isaiah Gonzalez to the Library Advisory Committee.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a second to that motion, please?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. 10.6, the Budget Committee. Right now, we're looking at reappointing Judy Simmons to the Budget Committee at this time.
And we have a vacancy there also, don't we? Previously.
You previously acknowledged, correct?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we reappoint Judy Simmons to the Budget Committee.
Thank you for your motion. Can we get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much. Moving on to the Parks and Rec Committee, we have, looks like Lisa DeLynn, just being reappointed to the Parks and Rec Committee Advisory. Any questions on this time about Ms. DeLynn joining the Advisory Committee? Okay, we're looking for a motion at this time.
Am I-
Oh,
go ahead.
You got it.
So Ashley, it's your turn.
I move to reappoint Lisa Dillon to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Real quick, before we continue on to the last item, I have one thing I'd like to say. I want to say thank you to everyone who is volunteering on these committees and donates their countless time and hours and blood, sweat, and tears in some of them. So I do appreciate it, and thank you very much for your service to our community. Moving on to 10.8. Any questions on this one? A resolution formalizing the city council's decisions regarding the city manager's complaint against the mayor. This time, if there's no further questions, we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution number 17-2025.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to our second public comment. And then once again, just as a reminder, make sure that these comments are targeted towards the city programs and operations and not towards staff. It would be appreciated. Thank you. This one is, I don't think you can put that's not an address. Yeah, she's right. All right. This is Mr. Chief Grant for the fire department.
Is that a studio?
Studio, yes. Mr. Mayor, I would like to, thank you and the city council for the relationships that I've fostered over the past year and a half. I want to announce my resignation with the organization at the end of this month with some health difficulties and changes in my family. I have the opportunity to be selected as a division chief at a department closer to my family. And I think where we're at with the age of my parents and our family dynamic, it's important that I get closer. I wanted to, and I have two board members here. I have Chair Sipe and Director Huxell here. I wanted to thank you very much for your support as a board of directors in the fire department, but also for the personal relationships that I formed, one especially at the Parks and Rec. Fire Department and Parks and Rec have worked very close together. National Night Out with PD has been awesome under retired Chief Huxell and Chief Ron Bridge. We've had some great relationships. Most recently, we did the Bomberos bilingual reading with the school in celebration of Fire Prevention Week and Hispanic Heritage Month, and that was very enlightening and very awesome. So, David, I'd like to thank you for working with you as well as everybody else on the city staff, Lieutenant Kendi, Detective Sergeant Capers. Yeah, and everybody else. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunities here. I've been enriched by the relationships and thank you for the opportunity to learn and grow. So that's all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Chief.
you very much for your service, Chief Grant.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Very,
Yeah, and best
very
wishes
sad.
wherever you go, you know.
Yes.
I'm
Very,
dis-
very sad to see you
I'm
go.
disappointed to, have missed the opportunity
Thank
to,
you.
with
Yeah.
the education.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we have no further items for discussion at this time. Is that correct, staff? Anything else? Okay, thank you. Moving on to the mayor's message. Welcome to the new year. I look forward to working with city staff and continuing our collaboration and working toward making the city of Umatilla a great place to live and continuing to progress towards progress. So, to progress. Congratulations. Happy first year, everyone. I want to say thank you again for everyone who submitted public comment and who came up to speak. The podium is not a fun place to be sometimes, and Josiah, you always do great. So thanks for coming up and giving your speech, and thank you again to Ms. Pratt for coming up and speaking. We do appreciate it. That time, that's all I have for you this evening. We're going to start down. Actually, we'll go down to Mr. McLean. Councilmember McLean, you have the first one. Go ahead.
Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I-
Information discussion. Go ahead.
I wasn't thinking about this. I have absolutely nothing prepared. And the weather's unbelievably nice, so I can't even fall back on, be safe when you drive. I thank you for the opportunity to be up here. I really hope I can be up here and deliver some transparency and work for the citizens of Umatilla. I think that about covers what I'm prepared for.
Great for a first one. Sounded good.
Perfect.
I like it.
Councilmember McMillan.
I just want to say, Happy New Year, everyone. And I hope this is a year we can kind of we've had a couple hiccups in the city, between various things. And I hope 2025 can be a year of healing and bonding and coming together as a community and just tighten up and strengthen up. So that's all I got, but yeah.
Councilmember Wheeler.
I have a question and then just a couple things I wanted to say. So one of the questions that was asked earlier, I was just curious with Zoom and things like that, we have obviously closed captioning. Are we able to fine tune that? Or I can't really see how we would even be able to have names in there. But I was curious if Zoom does have something like that. Right.
You're not speaking. If you're not speaking clearly into the microphone. There are issues with the closed captioning. So as long as we continue to work on it, because today is our new system,
Right.
and you're pushing the button off, that way we don't get any feedback. I'm hoping that gets better,
Okay.
but it's going to come with a conscious effort of us making sure we're pushing buttons and speaking clearly into the microphone.
Perfect. Okay. And citizens, if you guys are ever on Zooms, I love that feedback. Continue to provide that to us because that will allow us to know the efforts that we're doing, the habits we're trying to make, if it's actually making a difference. I do also I wanted to make a comment regarding, I know some of the last couple meetings have been a little confusing, and I think some of us wanted to be able to say something in the last meeting, but maybe didn't. But one of the things that's difficult about those meetings is half of the conversations and questions were behind executive session. So whether you come to us and you ask us questions, we're not able to answer what happened in those meetings. But then you guys basically got to see the second half of the story, and that's why it's not as clear, which was a choice by our mayor to come into public to be able to have that conversation. So I apologize that that has been a little confusing, but that is policy and what we're supposed to do. And then the second thing that I wanted to mention, because I thought this was an interesting fact, recently I went to, what is it called? Oh, the Elect Essentials training for city councilors. And they mentioned that Oregon is classified as home rule, which I had no idea what that meant. And the running joke through the whole training was, let me see if I can make sure I say it right. In Oregon, there's always 241 ways to do something. And the person who was there teaching literally had stickers that she was giving us. Anytime we had a question, she'd hand us a sticker that said, check your charter. Because in Oregon, what home rule means is every city abides by their own charter, means their own rules. So the way that Hermiston does something could be completely different to the way Umatilla does something. I had no idea of that until recently when we had that training. So sometimes when we're looking at stuff and you're like, but wait, I saw this differently here or in this city, it's a check your charter. Our charters are also very different. And that's why as city councilors, it's our job to make sure we know what the charter states. So I know that with some of the public comments I've been hearing lately, a lot of it is, one, I have no idea how this runs. And two, this is why we vote you guys in. So when I hear those comments, I do just want to be able to give you guys a little bit of education so it's a little more clear. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor Wheeler. Councilor Duffloff.
Yes, I too went to LOC training. And I noticed some stuff that had changed from the last time I was there.
Yeah.
And it had changed drastically. Also to address some stuff as far as processes, because Mr. Stockdale is an employee of the city, okay, there's a process to which we have to handle complaints or whatever that case may be, and that has to go through HR. Just like if I was to go to some other meeting, let's say I went to, I don't know, if I went to the school district and I had a complaint about our superintendent, I would have to go through the process. I don't go directly to the board. I go through their process, whatever that process is. If I go to wherever, I handle it through HR because that person is a paid employee and they're under the umbrella of BOLI. They're under the umbrella of being any kind of employment law, any kind of employment rule. There's a process that you have to follow. Unfortunately, because we sit up here, that person, i.e. the city manager, doesn't have that recourse. He can't go through HR to sue us or to investigate us. We have a process that he has to have that complaint to us. So we have to go through the process, and that's what you guys seen. And so if you don't understand how the process works, typically that's what it follows. And that, again, happens to go through our policy and our charter. I thought it was pretty amazing. She's exactly right. Charter, charter, charter. It's all about our charter. The charter is not written by us. We put it together and it goes to the vote. It has to be voted on by the community. And I believe our charter was put together in 06 or 07. And it hasn't been rewritten or redone. Doesn't mean that it can't be. It just means that it has to go in front of the people. And I think I didn't know this stuff, and I've been a part of elected official for many, many years. So it was nice to learn it, and I appreciate doing that. I think we have an amazing group of people, and I think with some communication and some understanding and some common ground, I don't think we need to go through this last year that we went through. I know that there's tremendous amount of angst. People feeling ill coming in here. We're volunteers. We shouldn't feel this way. We shouldn't be, for lack of a better term, attacked in a parking lot and screamed at and yelled at for as essentially having a different point of view. And that's not fair to those people. We're trying to do the best we can do with what we have. And we have to go with that. It takes a lot of courage. I have a lot of admiration for these people up here, including the mayor. You know, we take pot shots all the time from our community members. I just asked Kareem when we sit down, why are we here? I mean, honestly, you're our community. I see you guys in the grocery store. I don't want somebody coming by and giving me dirty looks or flipping me off or being inappropriate when I'm just trying to do the right thing. I think I'm doing the right thing. I don't know. But I have to be open-minded enough to understand that I have to question myself and my direction of doing that. And I ask and employ you to do the same, please. Let's be respectful to each other, I would ask. I think it's great we're getting alert systems together. I think that's fantastic. That's really gonna help things. We have some new businesses in town, I see. That's fantastic. You know, with Leroy opening up his shop and then Melissa Webb opening up her mortgage place. That's fantastic. I see more stuff on the horizon. That's incredible. I think we're moving into like the 1980s already. I want us to all understand that we're human and every one of us, and I think we're in here for the right reason. I don't think any of us has malicious intent. So I think we have a great community. So I thank you guys. This is the most involvement I've seen in the last 6 months. I think it's fantastic. Good, bad, or indifferent, be involved. Voice your opinion, please. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilor Farber.
Happy New Year. I just, have a few things. The city view that was made by, is it? It's in the Creos, fabulous. I love that it's in Spanish as well, fabulous. People, I mean, I really enjoyed looking at that and, great information. I also, I'm very sad about fire. Huge loss. Thank you for all you've done for our community out in just a short amount of time. You were very involved in everything. I'm just very sad. And our school too, so I'm very sad. I just, thank everyone, like they said, agree with them for coming and, looking forward to a better year.
Me too.
Thank you. So this time, council, we are looking for a motion to recess into executive session. We do have an executive session this evening, and thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. It's time we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we recess to executive session at this time.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The guys have it. Moving on, the city council now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 1926602H to consult with your attorney regarding your legal rights and duties in regard to litigation or litigation that is more than likely to be filed. Or likely not to be filed, sorry. Representatives of the news media, city attorney, and city manager Stockdale shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representative of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the specific deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general topic of the executive session as previously announced. No decision will be made during executive session. At the end of executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back to their room. Thank you. We are now in executive session. First one of 2025.
Give us just a moment to get
Push it over.
Mr.